Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the JBDC Virtual Biz Zone for today, Tuesday, February 15, 2022. My name is Sansia Campbell, and I'm the Public Relations and Events Coordinator here at the Jamaica Business Development Corporation. This morning, we are going to be continuing our Access to Finance series. As you know, we started last week where we talked about funding your way to recovery. Now, this morning, we have our partners, Sagicor Bank. They have been with us for a while, and they are going to be sharing with us on the theme, financing the manufacturing and agriculture value chain for growth. So for the persons who are involved in that area, and even if you are not involved in financing or agriculture, once you're an SME, you are welcome to the information that will be presented this morning. Before we get into who our presenter is, I want to share some important information with you. Number one, we are recording this event and it will be available on the JBDC's YouTube channel later this week. So if you know someone who will not be able to be here for some reason or another, or you can't stay for the entire session, please feel free to follow JBDC on YouTube. Our handle is at JBDC Jamaica, and you will be able to access this as well as all the other previous sessions that we have hosted before. We also want to let you know that we're going to be sharing our customer feedback form with you as well, so that we can get information from you as to how to make the sessions better for you, to introduce topics that you want to talk about, so that the session will be something that will be useful to you. So as I said this morning, we are going into the second of our third Access to Finance series. And we have with us this morning Mr. Tajay Brown. He is from Sagicor Bank. He's an SME banker, and he's going to be talking to us about financing the manufacturing and agriculture value chain for growth. So without further ado, it's over to you, Tajay Brown.
Good morning, and thank you, Sansia. Thank you so much for having me and present with you the JBDC this morning. Let me just first start by even saying a special good morning to those who are currently on this live stream, just tuning in to this. I believe that this is actually a very wonderful forum. As a matter of fact, I believe sometime last year I was actually on the other end, where I was in the audience. I was a part of your fundamentals in business program, right, where I was actually a part of the audience, actually listening in and learning, and I must say that was quite insightful, and I love what the JBDC is doing. Pretty much, it is good that we have so many people on the stream right now, because what that shows is that people are eager to learn and people are eager for information, and knowledge, let's say, or education is really a vehicle of social mobility and progress, and that will definitely help you in your business. So once more, let me just say thanks for having me. So you'd have mentioned that I'm an SME business banker. So what I do is SME, meaning small and medium-sized enterprises. So what I do for Sagicor Bank is I'm responsible for small and medium-sized businesses. So those are businesses with annual revenues up to about 425 million Jamaican dollars per annum. So anywhere between, let's say, roughly 0 to about 425. There's a segment for micro businesses in that, but we actually manage those relationships as well. And what my job function entails is I'd really come in contact with a lot of business owners, small business owners, and we'd offer product solutions to these business owners. So these product solutions include banking account products, loan products, other value-added services that you as a business owner might see fit to actually run an efficient business. Good. Right. So the topic for today, or the theme that we're going to speak on today, is financing the manufacturing and agriculture value chain for growth, right? And that is the manufacturing and agricultural sector is a sector that has been in the news recently, for good reasons. I must add. I know that throughout the COVID pandemic, the manufacturing sector became one of even more significant importance, because what you found happening is with the whole pandemic, food security became of the essence. And I can't recall a single time in the pandemic, save and except for the recent chicken issues that we've seen on the media for the recent days, that food was really short. So I must say kudos to the members of this sector, manufacturing, agriculture, agro processing, and you guys are really important to us. So to jump right into what we are going to discuss today. So just to list out our objectives of this session. We're going to just briefly discuss banks and loans and how it really works. Because businesses, every business could do well with a loan. A lot of businessmen and women actually have their ideas and just need funding to actually get this idea or turn this idea into reality. So we're going to discuss that very briefly. We're going to just run over what the general purpose of loans are. Meaning, what do people take loans for, right? We're going to also just briefly mention or run over what are standard loan requirements. So what do I as a business owner actually need in order to qualify for the loan that I want, or the loan that would be best for me, right? We're going to discuss the importance of your bank account in this whole process, because having and operating your bank account in a manner fit for business really is a very important aspect. We're also going to discuss the importance of your financial statements, right? The financial statements is a very important piece of information that all bankers will need in most cases to actually assess you in order to qualify you then for a loan, right? As we're speaking on the financing on financing the manufacturing and agricultural sector, Sagicor Bank, as a matter of fact, we're officially launching this product today, right, which is the new manufacturing and agro-processing loan. So this loan is tailored to persons in the manufacturing and agricultural sector, those businesses, right? So we're going to go in detail about that loan, right? We're also going to go, though Ms. Sansia did mention that it would be valuable for anyone once you have a business to actually hear this information, because we're also going to briefly go over other types of loans and debt financing that can help you to propel your business forward. We will touch also on the Sagicor Bank SME Business Resource Center that was established last year. And once we go through all of those, we'll just jump into the question and answer section. Once I'm going through, your questions might pop up. What you can do, you can type the questions in the chat so you don't forget. And if it is that you want me to go over a point, you can make mention of it. But we will try our best to save the questions for last. But just so you don't forget them, you can just type them in the chat. Right, so I see we have some people on here, and I want to ask you a question. We're going to jump into a quick poll. So I need your guys' engagement real quickly, and it's a very simple question. You're going to see the poll icon come up, and I just want you to answer. How easy do you believe it is to get a loan from a bank currently? I mean, I know a lot of people might have the various responses. I just want you to maybe just click on the poll real quickly. The poll is going to run. We're going to run this poll for maybe 20 seconds to see how easy it is to get a loan from a bank. The results are in. Whoa. Whoa. All right. Can we see the results of the poll right now? this is rather interesting.
Okay.
Yes, Anzia?
Are you seeing the polls? It's on the screen, you know.
Okay, good. Yes. All right. So the results are on the screen.
Yes. Tell me if you are seeing it.
Yes, I can see that now. Thank you.
Okay, great.
But this is quite alarming because 67%, so 18 people voted in the poll and 12 out of the 18 said it was hard to get a loan from a bank. 5 people saying it was not so hard, and then we have 1 person saying it was relatively easy. I want to hear from one of our participants who believe that getting a loan is hard. What has your experience been like? Very, very shortly, and why you think it is hard. Anybody who wants to participate. Joan Thomas says difficult, too many requirements. They do not, I believe she means, don't cater for the small man.
Mr. Brown, we have somebody's hand who has been raised, Jabarni LV. We want to open Jabarni's mic so that he can go ahead and.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jabarni.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah.
The reason why I said it is very hard is because, as we know, majority of Jamaicans are below the poverty line. Persons who are looking to start a micro business. I'm not talking about a small business, no, a micro business. Most times persons don't have any form of capital to start their business. They might have a good idea, a brilliant idea, but they don't have no form of capital to start the business. I don't know a bank right now. I don't know a single bank that caters to micro business operators, because the first and foremost, the requirements to access those loans, even small, quote unquote, small business loans, I believe that they are too much, because first things first, you have to be in business making a profit before you can actually access the loan. And we know that most businesses don't start that way. We have to go through the learning curve, and we have to grow and develop and adapt and pivot. So I don't think they cater to micro business operators.
Understood. And I note that point. I see Jelani Kid also said in the chat that the requirements may be difficult to ascertain by most persons. And Adlin says the requirements seem to be tailored to deter persons from borrowing, and the collateral requirements are atrocious, and especially if your idea is out of the box. Well, I'll note those responsive. One person though did say it was relatively easy. Does that person have any comment to make as to why they believe it is relatively easy? No? Okay. All right, we can progress, but definitely, guys, thank you for your responses, and this is good information for us, and information that we may be able to use. So based on those are the responses, I believe then it is safe to say that the majority of people believe it is difficult to get a loan from a bank. But let me just briefly so that takes us into the point of really discussing, not in very much detail, shortly, how banks work and how the lending process goes. So as we know, well, commercial banks lend other people's money. So here's how the process flows go. This is the most basic, simplest of banking systems that we have here on your screen. So the first step is you savers place their money in their bank accounts. All right. So you'll have your regular savings and current accounts, and then you'll have persons who have a longer term fixed deposit or so on. So you place that money in your current account. What the bank does is the bank lends that money to business people and other people who might need money to borrow, right? When the bank lends that money, step 3, the bank lends it or at a specific interest rate. So the borrowers have to pay the bank a particular interest rate for borrowing the money. In turn, the bank will pay you interest on your savings for letting the bank lend you money. And then the difference between what the bank pays you and what the bank collects is the bank keeps and takes care of salaries and profits and so on. One of the core businesses of a bank is to lend money. And I want to tell you right now that banks absolutely love lending money, right? The basis of our work is to lend money. One of the challenges though is because we're lending out other people's money, we have to put all the necessary measures into place to ensure that we can retrieve the money, that we can collect the loan payments, right? So we have to ensure that we're lending it to good people. We're lending it to people who have a track record of performing well. And then we need to also ensure that if something happens and these people can't necessarily pay back cash for the loan, we have some other item can fall back on to say, well, we can assume this and pay back our depositors. And I think in this process, in actually ensuring that we're lending the money for good causes, that is where a lot of the difficulties as expressed in the quote before really lies, right? Because banks have to really manage this risk, right? We have to go in, we have to assess a particular client, we have to assess their character, we have to assess their capacity to repay the loan, we have to look into their history of repayment, and then collateral also comes into play. So this is actually really one of the most challenging aspects, actually lending the funds to persons who need it. How do we ensure that it is going to a good cause? How do we ensure that it will actually be used for what it is said it is going to be used for? How do we ensure that we can get these monies back? As I did say, if somebody saves their money in the bank, they would expect to be able to get back their money when they need to. And that I believe is where a lot of the challenge really lies when it comes to banks and loans, right? I do understand that one might believe that the list of requirements might be long, but depending on the loan type, I believe we do our due diligence to actually just ensure that everyone is really covered, everyone is really protected, and everyone's best interest is at heart. So sticking on the topic of loans, let's just jump into the general purpose of loans, or as I did mention before, what are loans typically used for, right? So I have 5 items listed here on the screen, and these are just broad headings because there are much more there are a lot more other types of loans that one can access to, loans that are maybe tailored more specifically to an individual need. So item 1 is working capital support. So we as business people, you might see the need to actually improve on your product catalog. So a lot of times you might see you want to purchase inventory and so on. So working capital loans actually offers you the ability to purchase inventory. You might want to get inventory at a cheaper price before a price increase, and you don't have the cash on hand to actually pump and tie up into inventory. So you might visit the bank. I'm just saying, well, I have these invoices from my suppliers and I'd like to purchase these goods from a business. With working capital loans, as you know, the working capital in most instances will convert into revenues, because once you're purchasing inventory, then the intention is to sell that inventory, right? Loans are also used for debt consolidation. All right, so debt consolidation really captures merging loans into one. All right, so say for example you have 2 or 3 loans and you're paying 50 on each, 150,000 total, and you believe that you shouldn't be paying that much. People or business owners might opt to take a loan to actually consolidate this smaller debt into one bigger debt. And then that will actually, they will change it, the terms of the loan, maybe increase the years on the general loan. And then they will end up paying a smaller amount. So what this really does is it will actually help your cash flow, right? So say you're paying 150,000 on the 3 loans and you merge it into one, and you're now paying 100 for the one big loan. What happens is you'd have freed up roughly $50,000 per month to actually be able to roll over into your business, to put back into your business, right? So people would often enter loan agreements for debt consolidation. What you also find is that there are sometimes they have loans or other debt products with higher interest rates. And if you were to consolidate those loans, you will consolidate, meaning, as I say, merging into one, you will benefit from a lower interest rate. So that is one of the reasons. There are also loans for capital expenditure. So business owners might want to purchase property, plant, equipment for the purpose of the business, to actually income generating equipment, or that will be used in the business. So you might say if you're going to work with the manufacturing and processing, say that you want to increase on your product, on your line, your product line, your production belt, right? You might want to buy new equipment. You might want to buy a forklift or a tractor, that type of thing. You might want to add an additional warehouse or storeroom to your property, right? So people will take loans out for capital expenditure, right? People will take loans out for purchase of property for business use. So a lot of businesses might be paying rent right now and might believe it is more feasible, instead of paying rent, to actually pay a mortgage, right? And I believe that is not a bad decision, right? So you might find people purchasing a commercial property so that they will pay a commercial mortgage instead of rent. And what you also find is that people might purchase the same property to actually rent it out to others, ends adding another stream of income to their business, right? There's also the purchase of motor vehicles for business use. And motor vehicles really fall into 2 broader categories when it comes on to businesses. You will have those commercial motor vehicles that you're definitely going to use in the business. You might want a bus to transport your goods. You might want a car. You might want a truck. You might want a tractor to actually use in the business, as well as some businesses will purchase vehicles from maybe their owners or their shareholders or their directors or so on for their use. So you find businesses using loans for these purposes. So the loan types that we have here are more structured to businesses, seeing that this is a business forum. So now that we have discussed the loan types, here comes one of the challenges that a lot of people have actually from the poll. Okay, Adeline, I see in the comments that you said about micro businesses do not have financial track record. All right, good point. I wanted to hold that point because we're actually going to get into that soon. Let me see. And Javorne says, Lord, the banks give you 0.5 interest on each $1 million. And Javorne, you can take that up with your banker. Call me. All right. So let's just jump into what the standard loan requirements are, right? And I believe there was a comment earlier saying that there's the list of requirements is too long, and it is a challenge. So let's just jump into it, and we're going to just dissect it, and I might just give you a brief insight as to what the importance of each piece or document is. So we have the business and owner KYC document. So KYC means know your customer, know your client. It's a term coined by the central bank. And what these documents include are, as you can see here, the business registration document. So your business registration document will include, if you're a limited liability company, your certificate and articles of incorporation. If you're a partnership or a sole trader, it will have your registration certificate. And so the certificate and articles do not expire, but your registration certificate expire after a number of years and will need that to be renewed, to be current, right? So businesses will also need their TRN. So a limited liability company will have its separate TRN, and then a partnership will also have a separate TRN, and then a trading as or a sole trader will have a spin-off TRN from the owner's TRN. Very critical as well to documentation is a valid business TCC. So the TCC, meaning your tax compliance certificate, right? It is a necessary requirement for all loan products, as well as for accessing or creating a bank account. Actually, having a valid TCC, and the TCC, as the name suggests, shows that you're tax compliant with the various tax entities. These include NHT, NIS, and the TAJ, I believe. We'll also need your business proof of address. So the business proof of address really just helps us to identify where the business is located, and for us just to establish that, yes, there is actually a business right here. So Adeline might own a business in, let's say, Half a Tree. So Adeline will present us normally with either a bill in the business name with the Half a Tree location or so on, something just to determine that, yes, this is where the proof of address is. What we find happening is that a lot of small businesses might register their business at their home address, and that is perfectly fine. We often accept letters from JPs just declaring that this is the address of the business. A lot of small businesses who are registered might not have a physical location registered at home. We accept those, right? What we also need is any relevant licenses that you may require to actually operate that business. So as you know, some skills are specialized and you need licenses or approvals to actually conduct business in that particular area, right? So we need those just to ensure that those are current or up to date. What we also need, and just wrapping up, know your client documents are the owner's ID, TRN, and proof of address, right? All these documents really just help us to paint a picture of who the person is, because it is a requirement by our regulators, by banks regulators, which is the Bank of Jamaica in here, that we know our clients and keep a good profile of our clients. And that is important for both the loan process as well as opening a bank account. We will now move on to financial statements. And Adeline did say in the comments that micro businesses do not have financial track record. And this is where maintaining a good financial track record becomes very important. I tell you what, you can tell us that you're doing very well in business, and we oftentimes we can see that you're doing well in business, but because we're regulated and we really need documentation to prove that you're doing well, we need these items, and that has often been a challenge for a lot of clients that I face. We'll touch on this later on, but using your bank account for your transactions is a big part of actually maintaining a proper financial track record, and it will serve you very well in actually producing your statements and actually meeting loan requirements. So your basic financial statements, and it is good you engage an accountant. It will include your income statement, otherwise called your trading and profit and loss account, right? Which shows your basic income, it shows your sales, it shows how much you sell for, how much your sales cost, as well as how much your gross profit is. It less your expenses and shows what your general profit of the business has been over a period of time. right? It shows how much taxes you would have paid and so on. So that is the income statement. So the income statement is used mostly for us to assess your performance over that period. And it allows us now to somewhat predict what your future performance will be. And then it subsequently allows us to decide, well, this person, given what they did the year before, should be able to manage this new loan or this new debt. So your balance sheet, also prepared by your accountant in most instances, will and it's a part of the financial statements, will show what your total assets and liabilities are, how much money is you as the owner would have pumped into the business, the capital, and we use that to assess the business as well. We'll have the statement of cash flows, will show what your cash flows over the period was, right? We'll have your cash flow projections. The cash flow projections normally should factor in the loan proceeds and the proposed repayments amount. So what the cash flow projection shows is how will the loan help you? How will the loan increase your cash flows going forward? And what changes will the loan cause in the business, right? And then the item line for bank statements. So banks will ask you for bank statements that are in line with your financial statements. So say your financial year is December 31st, the bank will ask you for financial statements up to December 31st and so on. And that is where using your bank account really plays a pivotal role. So if your financial statements, for argument's sake, is saying that you would have had 10 million in revenues over the course of the year, but all your bank statements, when you total them, it's only showing 3 million in revenues, that is a challenge. Because how do we know for sure that you actually had this 10 million? So your bank account, using your bank account, and once we do the assessment and calculate the deposit on your bank account, it should be close to what is represented on your income statement, on your sales figure. And that I've seen as well become a challenge for a lot of clients, and that is something we'll discuss further on how we kind of get that taken care of. And then we will need your credit report. So it is good to actually have a good track record when it comes on to loans and so on, because once you apply for a loan, we'll actually take a look into your credit history to see how well you would have managed loans in the past, and so on. That has also been a challenge for some clients, but so we do as banks, we actually do understand that your past doesn't necessarily totally define you. While it helps us to paint a profile, we do understand that things change and persons improve on their situation. So you shouldn't let having a bad credit history per se prevent you from at least starting or engaging a banker, preferably a Sagicor Bank. All right, so we're going to move now. We're going to continue with standard loan requirements. So another item that we need is the proof of purpose. So the proof of purpose really depends on what you want the loan to be used for, right? So your proof of purpose, that would include if you want a loan for working capital, you want to purchase inventory, you can present us with invoices of the goods or the products that you want to purchase to add to your inventory, right? If you want to purchase vehicles, property, or so on, you need various valuation reports. You'll also need invoices and so on. And if it is that you want to do debt consolidations and so on, you'd need settlement statements or so. So it depends on what you intend to use a loan for. Your banker will actually ask you for various documentation just to confirm, right? As I did mention before, word of mouth is one thing, but actually having a document to actually show that, yes, this is what it is going to be for, because of regulations and so on, and because we're trying to minimize risk so that we have money to pay back our savers, but we just need to be sure, right? Then there also comes the proof of of equity. So proof of equity normally takes the form of a down payment. So banks, you'll see where banks say that they offer 80% financing, they offer 90% financing, 95% financing. We as banks, we just need to know that you also have a vested interest in the undertaking that you wish to take, and you have committed yourself. So the proof of equity really shows your commitment to what you're trying to do, right? Depending on the size of the loan, the bank might require you to pay down more or less or so on. It depends on the security behind the loan as well, right? And the value of the security. The bank might ask you to don't make a down payment of more or less. And the proof of equity may take the form of a receipt, a down payment. You might want to do a building, but you already have the land. That counts as proof of equity as well. One of the another tricky items is collateral. So I know that collateral really is very challenging for a lot of micro and small and medium-sized enterprises. So banks offer unsecured and unsecured business loans. It often depends on the type and size of the loan as well as the risk associated with the loan, right? For unsecured loans, and I believe a lot of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises will not have the necessary collateral to back a loan. The Development Bank of Jamaica actually offers what they call a credit enhancement fund, which pretty much guarantees loans for small and medium-sized enterprises. So that is something you guys can actually look into. And then so collateral really, as I did say, depend on the type of loan, the purpose of the loan, and the risk associated with the loan at hand. And then the bank, depend on the particular situation. The bank might also request additional information or request some additional documentation or so on. Right, so we'd have mentioned this earlier. Leith Force is there a loan to assist in setting up a home-based processing facility? All right, Leith, we can save that question for later on. We're going to actually talk about the manufacturing and agro processing loan, so we can discuss that. I'm sorry. So the importance of your bank account. So this point was raised by Adeline. Microbusinesses do not have financial track record, and it plays a very key role in business. So just some points that I want to make. As small business owners, oftentimes we might get our personal and business goals confused. And what is very important is that we separate business and personal goals, right? And by separating our business and our personal goals, it will then lead to us separating our business and personal transactions, right? So at no point in time should you really be doing your business through your personal account, and at no point in time should you be putting your personal expenses before your business expenses. If you are serious about business, you will make the necessary steps to separate your business and your personal goals, and just put measures into place to ensure that the two sets of funds never intertwine, to ensure that you keep a proper track record, because you're serious about business. You want to progress. You want to have documentation to show that, so that when time comes, you can say, yes, I did this, and this is the evidence that I have. It is really best practice to pass all revenues through your bank account. As I mentioned the scenario before, where you might say you did 10 million in sales, but your bank account only shows 3. That is really a challenge for institution, because on what basis do we back the financials, right? There are a number of types of financial statements, just to touch back on that. Audited financials, accountant prepared financials, and so on, which might offer some comfort with variances in bank statements, but it is very important that your bank statements show the at or close to the revenues then that you'd have mentioned. Owning a bank account or having a bank account really expands your horizons. It really ensures that you can access the multitude of products that can make your business grow. Bank accounts, comes with point of sale services. You can accept international transfers. It really shows that your business, having a bank account in your business's name, really shows to your suppliers and your customers that you are a legitimate business, somebody who is serious about business. It doesn't really look good for you to say you're running a business and then give somebody a personal bank account number, right? They will automatically assume that you're just trying a little thing and not really official. So it is really good to have a bank account because it expands your horizons. And as I did mention before, it increases accountability and tracking, right, of your business spending and so on. Right, so the next item we're touching base on is the importance of your financial statements. Right, so the financial statements is one of the key tools that banks use to assess a business and the feasibility of the loan. So as we did mention before, we went into detail with some other aspects of the financial statements. It helps us to paint a picture both of what your performance was like, and then you have those items that help us to paint a picture of what your future performance will be like based on the projections or so on. So the financial statements play a very important part. For my bank in particular, not all financial statements need to be audited, right? Because so if your loan is below a certain amount, you will not need audited financial statements. An accountant can prepare those financial statements, or even in-house financial statements, right? What you should ensure though is that at the very least that your accountant is certified. So you want to hire a certified accountant, whether it be a CFA, a ACCA, a RPA, registered public accountant, or so on, and ensure that you back that with a good accounting software. As you know, we're in the technological age and we have a lot of accounting software that can help us to key in a lot of our income and expenditure, which in turn makes tracking your business month over month, week over week, way easier and much more efficient, and makes the information way more reliable. So it is very important that we have a good accountant, as well as we have good accounting software. And you having these items into place means that you are able to make on-time decisions that will help your business to perform. Right? If you realize that you had a slow month, you can just check your accounts real quickly, see what the challenges were for that month, and then make an on-time and informed decision going forward. So it is really important to have your financial statements on hand, and all banks for most loans will actually require they present some type of financial statements. Right, so seeing that would have covered that, let's now just jump real quickly into the Sagicor Bank manufacturing and agro-processing loan. So as I did mention before, this is a new product. We're actually launching this product today. And it is tailored for manufacturing and agro-processing persons. So persons in that sphere, so manufacturing, agriculture, and so on. The product is intended to provide existing medium-sized companies with business support by ways of financing. These funds can be used for retooling. It can be used for business expansion. It can be used for import substitution, and it can be used for creating export channels to overseas markets, or assisting you with exports and so on. Right, so retooling. So say you have outdated tools, outdated equipment, you can actually access these funds to assist with increasing or improving on the tools that you have, which down the line should mean improved efficiencies, meaning less maintenance on these outdated, on these equipments than before, more economies of scale, and so on. Business expansion. Let's say you want to increase your product catalog. You want to add to your production line, right? You want to get some research done. You can actually, this loan facility can actually be used to facilitate business expansion in that way, right? Import substitution of raw material and finished goods. A lot of times you actually have to, there's a concept in economics called the make or buy decision, whether it is cheaper to make an item or buy the item, and that is a decision we as business owners have to make. So the loan can be used to assist with import substitution of raw material, finished goods and so on, just to add to your production, right? And then, as I did say, exporting to overseas markets and so on, the loan can be used for that as well. The manufacturing and agro-processing loan, it is really targeted for businesses in existence for 2 years. Well, I know that I have a lot of smaller businesses on the line, but we're actually going to get into products that can help you as well. But it is good for you to just listen out to this, because a lot of the concepts explained here are really similar to those other loan products. So we're going to just run over this. So it's targeted for businesses in existence for 2 years or thereabout. Okay, I see some questions coming in. All right, so I see your questions, Adeline. You may have said it before, but I have partnership agreement. Okay.
Tajay, you can just go ahead with the presentation and then we'll take the questions following. Okay. Yeah.
All right,
I've already to note them, so.
No problem.
All right.
All right. So good. So it is targeted for businesses in existence for 2 years, 2 years or older, with credit turnovers of at least 75 to 425 million annually. So this 75 to 425 million annually is really medium-sized enterprises, right? The interest rates are very, very competitive, 6.5% to 7.5%, right? And the eligible clients will have access to a loan in the range of 30 million to 50 million Jamaican dollars. And as I did mention before, these loans may be used for the purposes as mentioned earlier. And clients would get up to 12 years to actually repay those loans. Along with the loan, eligible applicants will get access to other payment services and products, such as point-of-sale machines, credit cards, an e-commerce option. E-commerce meaning you would have had your business website, and we will install a payment gateway on your website so that you can accept online payments. So persons can log into your website and pay using a Visa, MasterCard, or so on. Not only that, is eligible applicants will get referred to the group for insurance products. So as you know, as a business, you might want to give your employees health cards and so on. We can, right, as a business, you might want to give your employees health cards, health insurance, or so on. So as you know, Sagicor offers those type of products, and eligible applicants we can get you access to these type of facilities so that you can make a general workspace environment way better. All right, so now that we've discussed the new manufacturing and agro-processing loan, we're just going to jump into other types of loans and debt financing. And we're going to just break this down maybe on a molecular level so that we can tell you then how these can benefit small and medium-sized enterprises. So you will have your regular unsecured or demand loan. So this is your day-to-day loan where you would say, all right, well, I need the funds for XYZ of a purpose. I did mention the purposes of loans earlier. And these loans, we have various types of loans, various interest rates. It all depends on what your goals are, what your intention is. And we have a lot of loan solutions that will be able to benefit you. Whether you're in the agriculture manufacturing sector or whether you're in another sector, you can actually come in, let us know what your plans are, let us see what your business type is, and we can offer a loan product. We have a revolving line of credit on hand, where so your revolving line is a loan that it works similar to an overdraft line, but not necessarily an overdraft line, where it's a cross between a demand loan and an overdraft line. Because a revolving line of credit is you'll have a loan approved and you draw down on that loan as much as you want, as much as you present invoices to draw down. Once you pay back that loan, you have the ability to draw down again without having to go through a rigorous reapplication process. So depending on what your business structure is, depending on what your business model is like, depending on what line of business you're in, then this loan might come in handy. We have overdraft lines. So we have permanent as well as temporary overdraft lines and overdraft facilities that are available to business clients, right? If it is that if it is that you need an overdraft line for permanently, right? We'll go through a similar loan application process to instate that, because as you know, based on the demands of your business, you might have delayed payments and so on, and an overdraft line will come in handy for whenever you need that. A temporary overdraft line, we offer temporary overdraft lines because oftentimes you might need temporary help with payroll because your receivables have taken some time to come in, or for any other reason. We actually offer temporary overdraft lines with a lot of day ranges. And these are products especially for small businesses who might have temporary short flow challenges to actually cash flow challenges to actually access and use to their benefit. Another very good tool, and a tool that a lot of people are actually afraid of, and they shouldn't be, is actually business credit cards. And I think a lot of the fear surrounding business credit cards really comes from not knowing some of the basic concepts of how credit cards work and how to manage your credit card. A credit card is probably the best way to actually build your credit history, right? A credit card is similar to a revolving line of credit, because once you use the balance on a credit card, once you use the funds on a credit card and you pay back that balance, you have the balance to use again, right? And it would be good if we really get into actually understanding how credit cards work, because as I did say, credit cards are such an efficient tool for businesses. With a credit card, as you know, you'll only pay interest on your credit card if it is that you don't cover your full statement balance, right? And once you manage your credit card properly, you can have your credit card and manage it so well that you will never ever pay $1 of interest in your life. So it is really good for us to just understand how credit cards work, as well as credit cards come with a lot of other benefits, such as rewards and so on. So a credit card really is a good product tool. And a credit card, it prevents you from having to walk around with too much cash. Just to go into credit cards, having a credit card. So one of the challenges that was highlighted earlier was the idea of not being able to use your business account much, because you probably have to use the cash as it comes along. Having a credit card really allows you, sometime you can use a credit card, lodge your cash in the bank, and then use the cash to clear the credit card bill. So that way you have a track record of the cash that goes in. And this really improves then your usage of your bank account, right? And that is something that, as we discussed, is very important. right? And then I want to also discuss what we have here as the Sagicor Bank Business Resource Center, right? So the Sagicor Bank Business Resource Center was launched in March 2021, so early last year, and it's located at 6C Constant Spring Road, right? So what the Business Resource Center is, it's actually a partnership with JBDC, Jamaica Business Development Corporation, the first of its kind between a private and a public sector company. And it was designed to assist stakeholders in the business sector to really improve themselves, improve their businesses, and as you see here, inevitably improve the country's economy. As you do know, entrepreneurs are really the lifeblood of an economy. As I did say, banks love lending loans because we understand how advancing funds can actually help to propel an economy. And it's not that we don't want to lend loans per se, but how do we lend good loans, or how do we make the businesses better so that they can access these loans easier, right? So the Business Resource Center really supports business clients by offering training in business management. We offer financial support and guidance, research and product development capabilities, right? You know, entrepreneurs are so important to the society, because just on the basis of you deciding that you want to start a business, you'd have created one job. That job is you. So you are now employed. You would have created one job just by deciding that, hey, I'm going to register my business and I'm going to do this. When you decide to hire somebody, you are actually contributing, you're already contributing to the country's economy, right? For the first part, you're improving the standard of living of the country, and you're contributing to taxes, as well as you'd have been supplying a good or service that is important to your community, or the space in which you operate. So it is very important then that we help you, right, to actually improve on any inefficiencies that you may have had. Right? And that is how the Business Resource Center comes into play. At the Business Resource Center, you'll have SME business bankers like myself who you can actually walk in and engage with. We actually have also representatives from the JBDC who are stationed at the location. So at the location that you can actually also walk in and engage with. And then it is somewhat of a holistic approach to business development, because JBDC will facilitate much of the training and the guidance and the research and so on. And then Sagicor Bank would facilitate much of the financial support and so on. Each applicant is treated special, case by case basis, and we just take it from there. So that is actually something that we all on this call and or in this forum can actually listen to and learn from, and just gain access of this, or take advantage of the services rendered. Right. So here is somebody had asked for my contact information in the chat earlier. We're just going to conclude, and then we're going to jump into our question and answer section, so you guys can actually take this number down. This is my cell number, as well as my email address. All right, and you guys can actually reach out to me if you have questions or so on. Shortly, I will also share a link in the chat for persons who are interested in actually booking a free consultation at the Business Resource Center. Right. I have a quote on here. It says, over planning can be procrastination in disguise. And this is actually one of my favorite quotes. Right. To me, what that means is a lot of times we might believe that we don't necessarily have everything in place. And then the longer we think about the fact that we don't have everything in place, is the longer we take to actually make a decision. And a lot of times what we need to do is just start, right? We just need to start. And by starting as we go along, we can learn and grow and adapt, right? I hope the information shared in this forum was helpful. I hope that you'd have gotten some insight as to what are the options available to businesses, refinancing, loans, and so on. And then what you can do, we're going to just take some general questions now, just so that we can clear up anything that would have been missed.
Thank you very much, Tajay, for sharing that very, very important presentation with us. It was truly very informative. And I also want to thank you for highlighting the partnership between JBDC and Sagicor, where we opened that business center last year in March. I actually love your quote that you used at the end here. Over planning can be procrastination in disguise. And sometimes what we find, is that people just sit down and they're planning. They're just planning and planning and planning. And there's another saying that I would add to what you have written here, and it's just start. Start wherever you are. Just start, and as you go along, it's like taking a step, the next foot must follow. You know what I mean? So just start and you can get it done. I want to go through the chat because I see quite a number of questions were coming in while you were presenting. So Adeline is asking a twofold question. One is, does one have to be an account holder to access a Sagicor loan? And if not, can you use an existing Sagicor account to convert into a business account?
All right, Adeline. So you were very reactive with me this morning. So just thank you for that, first of all. Right, so the question one, does one have to be an account holder to access a Sagicor loan? The answer straight and forward is no. So you don't have to be a Sagicor account holder to actually engage with a Sagicor business bank to access a Sagicor bank loan. What you will need to do though is to actually have a bank account, because you can actually present us with bank statements from your other bank account, and we can use that for the assessment. At the time of the loan application, you will be onboarded as a Sagicor bank client, and then you will have access to that bank account going forward as well. So straight and forward, no, you don't have to be a current account holder, because once we can use the information from your other bank account for our assessment and just give you an account you can use going forward. All right. The second question was, can you convert an existing Sagicor account to a business account? So that answer is also no. So you can't necessarily convert a personal account into a business account, all right? Because to change account, you really have to close it. What you can do though is a lot of times as I say, a lot of things are taken on a case-by-case basis, because you might find clients who were using their personal account for business flows, right? We as bankers, we are aware that might be shortcomings of the individual that can be corrected, right? By just informing them as to the importance of the bank account. So we can actually still take a look at your personal account statements just match the transactions that we see and that are business transactions and so on. And this just goes to my point where it is important for small business owners that we separate our personal transactions from our business transactions, and that we have business goals separate from personal goals, right? So no, we can't convert an existing account to a business account, but we can use information on a personal account if you were using it as a business account. It shouldn't be the case. It is not wise, and it is ill-advised, right? I believe, well, I don't want to say illegal, but it is ill-advised to pass business flows to a personal account.
All right, thank you very much, Tajay. Before we move on to our other questions, I just want to remind everyone that we've put the customer feedback form in the chat. So I'm asking as many members of the audience as possible to just go in and fill out that form. Let us know how you feel about this morning's sessions. I'm sure Mr. Brown will want to know that he made an excellent presentation this morning. All right, so there's a question from Leaf Forrester James. She's asking, is there a loan to assist in setting up a home-based processing facility?
All right, so is there a loan to assist with is it setting up a
home-based processing facility?
All right, so it depends. Is it a startup business, so to speak?
Are you a startup, Leaf Forrester? You can just let us know in the chat. While Leaf comes back with that response, Javarni has posited that he hears that there's a concession on imported agriculture items at customs. Is that something that the loan could be used to facilitate in terms of securing those products?
All right, so there's a concession on imported agriculture items at customs.
At customs, yes.
He wants to know if
that is something that he could use the funds to access. So like if you,
right, so,
I guess if you import any of his raw material from other locations. Pardon?
So the good thing is once you have the approval, the necessary approval for the concession or so on, and once you can show us that we can, as I did say, the loans can be used for working capital support and can be used to actually purchase goods, raw material, inventory, and so on. And we wouldn't object to you complementing that with a concession, because we actually do have a lot of farmers who benefit from concessions and so on, and we oftentimes maintaining our margin will finance the rest of the project, given that the person even that we can qualify the business for the loan. So in short, we do facilitate, we do take into consideration the concessions that may be received.
Okay, great. All right, so Janice Gore has posted a question which I think would be kind of directed to me. Can you reiterate how the Business Center JBDC supports startups? And Janice, JBDC has a tagline from concept to market, which means basically from the idea is born. Wherever your business idea is, from the moment that business idea comes to life, we can help you through the feasibility, checking if it's a feasible business idea, looking at the possibilities in terms of growth and so on. And once that has been done, then we can take you into the hand-holding process where we really just walk you through how the business is going to operate, how you're going to make a profit. If it's a product that you are producing, we do help you with the tasting, direct you to the Bureau of Standards and the SRC so that standardization can happen, to the Companies Office of Jamaica so that you can have a registered business, so that you can benefit from the different things that the government will put in place from time to time, so that you can benefit from taxes, paying your taxes, so that you can have your TCC and your NCC to benefit from government contracts. So I invite you, Janice, if you are thinking about starting a business, give us a call, 876-928-5161. It goes up to 5. Any of our business development officers will be able to help you. And if you are not in Kingston, we have locations across Jamaica. We're in St. Thomas, Mandeville, Ocho-Rios, Westmoreland, and Montego Bay. Plus, we have the Sagicor Center, Business Center, right here in Kingston as well. So just feel free to reach out to us, and we will definitely point you in the right direction to go. All right, Janice. Another question from Adeline for you, Tajay. Partnership. Where a business is registered as a partnership, does Sagicor require a partnership agreement to set up a business account?
So yes, it is actually a very important document. Just and we actually have internal documents as well that really captures information such as that. But on the basis that the partnership is being set up, you'd have definitely had to go through the partnership agreement and phase and so on. And if I'm not misled, I might be corrected. Once you receive that registration certificate, it means then that you'd have presented your partnership agreement to the company's office, right? I can look into it some more for you as well. Adeline, I can share my number once more. I can share it in the chat. You can reach out to me. We can just look into it once more, and I can even send you a full checklist of the list of requirements for specific business types. The list of requirements that we need to open accounts for specific business types.
Okay. Leaf, I'm gonna ask you to just stick up your virtual hand and we will get to you so that you can, explain the question a little bit more so that Mr. Brown can answer for you. In the meanwhile, Adesa Carruthers is asking, as a micro business owner who has not yet begun earning revenue, 1 second. Do I need a TCC to open a business account?
So the answer in short is yes. So the TCC is a very important piece of documentation. So once you actually register the business, you actually get a TCC that you can actually use, because at the point of registration, you wouldn't have any taxes to declare or so on. So you get a TCC immediately. You get at least a number that you can use to open the business account, right? So the TCC definitely is a need for business accounts as well as for loan approvals and so on, because it is, as I did say, given that we're regulated and we're guided by strict guidelines, we need to ensure that everyone who we do business with is compliant. So the TCC.
All right, great. All right, Leaf, I'm gonna ask you to unmute. So I just did that.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. I am a fairly, not really new business, but a new company. I was registered as a sole trader, and JBDC asked me to come home and register as a company. My business is grown out of my kitchen, and I have a market that I'm targeting where there's no, I do seasoning, sauces and jams and jellies and other products. And I have a market that is I'm required to process in a facility where there is no meat, nuts, nor shellfish, or dairy. Therefore, I am setting up a facility at my house. The business is a partnership, but we are stuck at a place where we need assistance to develop our business. We have a project plan to the tune of $34 million. And JBDC knows about it. And that this is where I am. And I really need to move from here. The products have been around for about 12 years or more. I have a history with JBDC. And this is where I am, and I really need help. I'm a senior person.
Before you answer, Mr. Brown, who is your BDO, Miss Forrester?
Miss Armstrong.
Okay. And you have been in contact with her?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, so maybe this is where Mr. Tajay Brown can step in now and say, okay, here is how we're going to help you. I'm putting you on the spot, Tajay. Let's go. Let's help Miss Forrester James now.
Well, Mrs. James, I'd actually love to speak with you off here. I believe I added my number to the chat, so you can actually reach out.
Yes, I got it. I wrote it down.
All right, very good. Because even this new product assisting businesses in the manufacturing and agro processing sector, I believe this would actually fall down your alley. And you are an established business based on the short history that you just gave me, and it really is just for us now to assess your business on a case-by-case basis so that we can make product solutions and recommendations that will actually allow you or enable you to expand in the way that you need. So I'd really love to speak with you on it. So just reach out to me after this session, and we can actually get into details and maybe get something going, you know.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Lee, for joining us this morning. We appreciate the fact that you could join us.
Yes, thanks. Thanks a lot.
All right. So I just want to bring everyone's attention to the contact numbers that have been placed in the chat, both for Mr. Brown, Tajay Brown, as well as for us here at JBDC. What I've done is to post the general number, 876-928-5161, and it goes up to 5. Once you call that number, wherever you are in Jamaica, we can direct you to one of our offices. So you don't have to worry that you don't have to travel to Kingston or anything like that. You also can visit us on our website, www.jbdc.net. And if you are social, so are we. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we are on Twitter, we are on IG. You can always visit any of our pages and keep up with the updates. Remember that I also said that this morning's session is being recorded and will be available on the JBDC YouTube channel by about Thursday of this week. So if you know anybody that wanted to be part of the session but did not get a chance to do it this morning, they can always look us up on YouTube at JBDC Jamaica, and they will be able to access this morning's presentation as well as any other presentation that we have done in the virtual biz zone or any of our other sessions in the past. All right, so I'm seeing another question for you, Mr. Brown. As a micro to small business owner in agriculture, I've maintained financial transactions and obtained financial statements. Could I still apply for the agriculture and manufacturing loan program? Remember now he's micro to small.
All right, Jelani, I believe. All right, so the manufacturing loan program, as I did say, was somewhat tailor-made to medium-sized enterprises, but notwithstanding, we actually still have loan products that, based on your business model, we can still get you access to financing. So what we need to do is really look into what you are doing and what you want to do, and we can look into the financials, and we can take a look at the financial statements that you have present, and then based on your plans, we can actually offer you a loan product that is feasible to both of us. So while you may not be able to access this product that is tailor-made, there are still many other forms of loan products that you as a smaller entity can actually gain access to. All right, so don't let the numbers are scary or so on. It is really good. Just engage with a business banker, engage with one of our business bankers, engage with me if you may, and we can tailor a product based on what you have to bring to the table, something that would fit you, something that you'd be able to manage, and as I did say, something that as a bank we'd be comfortable with as well. So definitely there are options that you can gain access to that will actually propel your small business in agriculture.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tajay. And I just want to again bring everyone's attention to the forms. Tajay has put in the chat a contact sheet where you can complete that and get a free consultation. He also has his number there, 876-224-5454. So take advantage of the opportunity, give him a call, let him be busy for the next month so that they can get your loans going, because we need to get agriculture in particular going. I was listening to a news item this morning where there are concerns that for persons that are particularly below the poverty line, that food security is going to become an even more serious issue. And so we need all of our farmers, all of our agro-processors to really get active right now and see if at best we can feed ourselves. And then if anything leave back, then we can export it to the other markets. I mean, we always want to export because the foreign exchange is great for our economy, but let us take care of our own home first. You know what I mean? And I also want to bring your attention to our audience feedback form. So please, I'm asking you, just complete it for us. We want to know how you feel about this morning's session. We want to thank you, Mr. Brown, for joining us this morning with such an enlightening presentation. It was indeed very useful information, and I'm sure that many persons feel a little better. Many of our entrepreneurs that have joined this morning. And if you do feel a little better, just drop it in the chat so that we know that you feel a little bit encouraged with what has been presented this morning. Our whole aim at JBDC is to put you into contact with those resources that you need to grow your business from one stage to the next. So next week, Tuesday morning again, we're coming back with the final in our Access to Finance series. Please join us at 10 a.m. Once you see the information go out where you are invited to register, go ahead and do so. If I'm not mistaken, next week we're going to be looking at youth in entrepreneurship. So all of those young persons that want to create wealth, next week will be your week. Creating wealth through entrepreneurship. So next week is your week. So come back with us next week and join us for what promises to be a very informative session. So thank you so much for joining us. We were so happy to have you. Ensure that you complete those forms that are in the chat. And thank you again, Mr. Brown. Are there any final words that you want to share with us before you go? You are muted.
Right, so it was really a pleasure actually being here, and day in, day out I work with entrepreneurs, small business owners, medium-sized business owners, persons who are looking to improve both their financial standpoint as well as the community around them. And you are really important people. And I want to say, don't be afraid. Just continue setting your goals, continue chasing your dreams, and continue to add value to this country that we all love. As I did mention before, entrepreneurship is really the lifeblood of an economy, and the small and medium size sector really carries the bulk of weight. Really employs the most people. So it is really what you as business owners do on a daily basis, the dedication and the hard work and the persistence that you display, it is really important, is really commendable. And I just want to say, I just want to wish you guys and all the best going forward in business. And from where I stand at Sagicor Bank, I know that we are in your corner, and it really is just now for you to engage with us. We have business bankers in every branch, in every Sagicor Bank branch. If you're not in my area, I can connect you with somebody that is in your area, where you can have a face-to-face meeting with, where you can have a virtual meeting with. And we, as I did say, we're in your corner, and we will definitely help you to grow, and so as I said, thanks for having me, and you guys take care.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Brown, and thank you everyone for joining us. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.